Okay, everybody, cue spoon and music in three, two, one. Do you like my shirt, by the way?
Dude, we're literally matching
We're
unintentionally.
actually matching.
Yeah.
Mine's like a Cars one.
Well, but I mean,
So, yours is definitely cooler. To be
unplanned.
fair,
This
unplanned
this
as well. The boys
this
are just in sync.
this shirt has a special sentimental value to it because my grandpa, who died earlier this year, gave it to me when I graduated high school. At my
What?
graduation party, and he came up and he's like, yeah, I got you this shirt, and he gave it to me. I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome, thanks, grandpa. He's like, yeah, it's a Star Wars guy, right? I was like, no, but
She's like,
I
oof.
still I still love it.
Thanks.
So
That's brilliant. I
yeah,
mean, to be fair, he's got good taste. Wait, and you got that when you finished high
high
school?
school, yeah.
So was it massive for you when you got it?
No, I haven't really changed size that much from then to now. Yeah, I mean, I'm less
I
muscly.
feel
I,
like
I was I was
I
pretty I
yeah.
was pretty shredded in high school, for me anyway. And since like
How often were you working out in high school?
pretty often, and then through like the first 2 years of college, I was going to the gym like four
Like
or five
you were
times a
going to the
week.
gym a lot.
I was going a
I
lot.
remember, yeah, I remember you came to Uganda for like a day, 2 days, and we went to the gym. And that was wicked. That was such a sick day.
Dude, my favorite
Um,
my favorite part of that I remember is there was the gym where it was just kind of it was a little bit sketchy
it
in
was a
that
little
like
bit dodgy. It was
they,
kind of
they,
like
they just had like
underground, and
random like barbells and weights that would just like be cut in half and stuff.
yeah.
It was just very like just stuff like that. It was just really odd. But my favorite thing was I think it was like the lat pull down machine or something, which is like one of my favorite things because it was one of the things that I was really bad at. And then I like just was like, what, I'm just gonna do this a bunch until I can do a bunch of weight, and then I'll be feel good about myself. And I did. And
Mm.
and I was doing, and somebody else was on it, and then I was like waiting for it, kind of from afar, just chilling. And then as he's leaving, I see him like move the thing down like a couple weights, so it looks like he's been doing 20 more pounds than he was actually.
Honestly,
And
oh
then, but the
wow.
best part was then I go over there, see what he was doing, put it down like all the way to the bottom, and then like press out my reps, dude. I was like, I am the king of the
Yes.
gym.
I'm the king of this Ugandan gym. Oh yeah. That to be fair, that was a really cool day, to be fair. I did like that a lot. I mean, back onto the shirts, to be fair. Like I said, yours is a lot cooler. So mine is obviously carpool, which is the joke. Um but so this I get a bunch of these shirts from this thing that I signed up for, which is called like a monthly tea or something. So you get like a tea a month, which is wicked because at the start to sign up for the whole subscription, it was like £2, right? Which is
Yeah.
nothing. I was like, £2 for any t-shirts, good value. So then I did that, and then I forgot to pay it off for the second one. So I ended up paying like another 6 or 7, which is stupid. I was just lazy basically. But then I'm not paying anything more, but they're still sending them to me. And I just can't seem to get rid of them. I've probably got like 5 or 6 of these shirts now. And some of them, I'll make sure I wear one next time that we're doing a podcast because some of them are like, they're just weird. Like I've got another Deadpool one, which is all red, but then where like the pocket would be, it's just a little Deadpool hanging out. It's just like, he's just chilling. I've got like a Monsters Inc. one, but instead of Monsters Inc., it's Monsters Link. And so it's Mike Wazowski with like the sword, with Link's sword and his helmet and everything. So I mean, that was quite cool. I was like, I still don't know why I'm getting these shirts, and I've made sure I'm not being
But
like
you're not
charged for
being
it or anything.
charged.
Not being charged at all, man. Not being charged a
Weird.
dime, and so it's brilliant. Like it's just class. I love it, man.
Dude, free
Because I'm getting all
clothes.
these
I'll
groovy
take it.
shirts. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not like I'd wear one of these out in public, but like under a jumper, or if you have like like a bedtime shirt or something. I think it's easy. And yeah, they're actually not a bad fit either. So this is probably one of the coolest ones I've got in a really nerdy, weird kind of way. But
Dude,
you know
I love
what? Fair
graphic
play.
tees. I have a couple Star Wars ones. I have a couple like Overwatch League ones.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great.
Where did you get your like? Is there a specific place where you get yours from?
Uh, I mean, a bunch were just given to me. I don't buy a lot of clothes myself, so like all my clothes I've like had for years, or
Yeah.
birthday, Christmas, mom like, hey, do you need pants? I'm like, trousers. Uh,
Try. Yes. I mean,
but
gosh, mum, don't go buy my pants. Goodness me,
oh,
no
dude, one of
way.
my other grandpa when he was in Uganda, you remember the well, the in your face chicken place, or like when you're on
Yeah,
your way to
yeah, yeah.
Jinja. So for those of you who haven't experienced it, which everyone should, but chances are you haven't. Uh, there's one there's like a town that was kind of, it was like on the Lake Victoria, and so it was a really nice like vacation spot, and you can go up and see the water, stay at a place, and really beautiful area called Jinja. And on the way up there, there was a place we used to stop for, like we used to call it Ugandan fast food. And essentially what would happen is there's just like probably 100 200 yards of like people just cooking chicken on sticks, and they just were just there all the time. And what you do is you just go pull off the road, and they would just run to your window and just
Yeah, yeah. All you'd have to
completely
do is just
completely
put the window
fill
down.
completely
It
fill
was
the
brilliant.
window with chicken. And so we just call it the in your face chicken place. And you could just, you'll give me 15, how many do you want in the back? All right, get 8 for back there. It was great.
It was brilliant,
It
man.
was really
And
tasty
honestly,
too.
like that, yeah, it was really tasty. Especially so they did the skin in the way like it was so ridiculously salty, but it
It
was
was
so
crispy.
nice.
It was crispy. Yeah.
Just like really, really well cooked. And then you end up with this massive stick that you've got at the end that you could just, like just do
Bonus, dude.
whatever you want to do
What I
with
was
a
saying,
stick.
my grandpa was in the passenger side, which it's on the left because silly, dodgy, British rules. But and so I guess his window had been down because it's hot, and my dad's driving. My dad usually would go out and get like fresh ones because the ones they bring you up aren't necessarily going to be the best. But
See,
so my dad's like ready to
he
get out
knows.
and stuff,
He
and
knows.
my grandpa has his window down, and they just start doing what they do in your face with the chicken, and he like is getting a little bit annoyed by it. He's like, can you get back up, please? He's just like getting right in his personal space, and then he's like, you're getting chicken on my pants, like yelling at him, which of course, pants is underwear in Britain and Uganda. So it was funny. We talk about that one.
They were not amused. Well, I feel like that was one thing we always used to joke about. Is about how something that when said in like American English did not mean the same thing in
Yeah.
English, and pants was definitely one of them. Um, and yeah, you guys used to make fun of me all the time, like saying bloody as well, and I'd be like, oh, no, you can't say that, and then you and Brevin and Jeremiah rather as well, all you just constantly picking at me. And I'd go home and then I'd cry and I'd be like, Mom, they're using all these bad words. I don't know what to do. That's not true. That's not what I used to do. No, I was
You
much more
take it like
composed.
a
Much more
man.
composed. Take it like a man. That's what my mum would say. To be to be fair, she's like, come on, Joel, stop being a wuss. Honestly, I do like because I was thinking recently. Obviously, the first main fast food place to go to Uganda was KFC, and that went down a
I mean,
tree, and that was not cheap.
that was
Like they
late
were
when
they
in
were
our time there too.
outrageous with the prices. Yeah, man. I mean, that I'm trying to think that when that was there for me. To be fair, I probably got a little bit more of that than you did because obviously you
Yeah,
left Uganda before I did. So, but even for me, it was probably only about 2 maybe 3 years out of the 12. So it
yeah,
wasn't
something
exactly
like
there
that.
for long.
Yeah,
I remember them hearing that. I remember hearing rather that a McDonald's was going to be there as well.
yeah.
But did you like? So did you ever go to the KFC place?
Oh, I went there. Oh, we went there actually at least one time. You and I, when I was staying
Probably
with
after
you.
the movies. To be fair, I
Yeah,
tell you
probably
what,
something like that.
Acacia Mall turned out to be a decent place, man. Like they had some good shops there as well. The cinema was decent. They had KFC.
Yeah, there
Man,
were
I
a
tell you
few.
what, like it was all right. It was all right. Um, and then there was that other big mall in Entebbe that was meant to kick off and just didn't. Like I remember driving past that place every time you see so many empty of just like those little boxes
Yeah.
where people would have like all their store and stuff.
Do
Nah,
you
it just
remember?
did not kick off.
I believe it was Acacia, and this is kind of topical too because was it Acacia Mall that had like the Halloween store? that was just there all the time? Is that the one?
Yes, yes, they did.
What was the idea behind that? It was
I'm
literally
not gonna lie, it
I
was a
think it was a
really
Halloween
cool
store,
place. It was a
but it was just
brilliant place.
it was just
It was
always
like a
there.
fancy dress. Yeah, it was like a fancy dress Halloween type of place, and yeah, they had some weird
But
stuff in
they
there.
don't
But
even
that
celebrate Halloween over there. It's like not a holiday. So it was weird. I was when
really,
I remember seeing that, I don't know,
I
probably
think
just
it was.
like
I think it was probably more based around like a fancy
just like
dress
the
kind of place.
costumes and stuff. Yeah,
It must have been, unless maybe the owner was a English, either an English person or an American.
could it be? Yeah,
Then maybe they saw sort of like a niche market that they could tap into. Because yeah, like there was nowhere else like that. I mean, to be fair, if you went into like some of the proper marketplaces, like in the middle of Kampala, you'd be able to find similar stuff. But that was just I was just a fun place to be. Really, they had some. I remember they had some really cool like Jabberwocky style masks where they like you could just see your eyes and they were like all white. I think I've got a photo with my mate when we're wearing like a white and a pink mask or so. It's brilliant. It's such a funny, stupid photo, but just class. Yeah. So obviously in the US, I mean, even here, to be fair, Halloween is pretty massive. Is that the case all across America, like
yeah,
everywhere?
yeah. It's a pretty
Yeah.
big deal, and it's one of those ones that like not everyone celebrates because it's like kind of a religious holiday, but also kind of not. And then there's like anyway. I remember growing up, we didn't celebrate it. We
Really?
would go to our we go to like one of our local churches, and they would have what they like harvest festivals, and so
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
would have like games. You can get candy and prizes, and they have like bouncy stuff, and I mean they were a lot of fun. But my parents were against trick or treating. I think they let Tegan do it a few years ago, but I think they've even grown out of it a little bit now too.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I feel. I mean, to be fair, like parties that were sort of Halloween based or happened around Halloween time, they always seem to be quite cool. Or like gatherings. If you'd have like a house party or just a get together with mates or going out on a Halloween night, those are always pretty cool because they just seem to be. I don't know, like people were just excited. There was a buzz in the air. I think that's what I remember about Halloween time. I
yeah.
suppose if that's what it's called, that festive season. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna mention just I was driving around. Well, first of all, I lost power for like 10 hours yesterday at my house.
Whoa.
There was a big storm last night,
No.
and it knocked a bunch of stuff out. What was weird is like it was a really nice day yesterday, and up until like 10 a.m. power kept like flickering on and off, and it kept like turning off stuff in our kitchen. Eventually, it started turning off our computers. Then it would come back, and then it just like was out from like noon to 10 p.m. It was like all
Oh
day.
my days,
So,
man.
but
That's
anyway,
ridiculous.
so I was driving around because I was trying to do something, and then all the stores were closed. Um, actually, I was looking for a Halloween thing, but the there's one house I passed had like a whole setup, like I don't know, 15-foot like blow up, like light up ghost thing. They had like fences and
Wow.
skeletons and moving stuff and lights and music. It was like, as elaborate as a Christmas decoration you've ever seen at a house. It was like that, but for Halloween. It was really cool looking.
That is class. I do, to be fair, I do, regardless of when it is, I do like it when people, like make an effort. But I think especially around Christmas when you see that, because you see it all over the place. Do you know what I mean? Like you see it absolutely everywhere, and I quite like that. I quite like the look of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just feel like it's just nice to see people gather. I mean, well, that is another thing. Obviously, with everything that's going on at the moment, what is Christmas going to be like? Because it's going to be a Christmas like no other, which
Yeah,
is
who knows?
kind of exciting and yet very scary to think about. So, yeah, I mean, have you got plans for Christmas? What are you going to be doing?
Um, I assume just being with the family.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know
Is
this year who's coming home or visiting or not, so I don't exactly know what all that's going to be like. But yeah, I
Because
mean, I
I'm
assume I'll
assuming
just.
usually you've got like massive family gatherings. Obviously, the whole Anderson family coming together. I
Yeah,
assume.
usually it's like my dad's parents come over. I mean, sometimes we'll have like an aunt or uncle that lives in the area. They've been relatively small the last few years.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, I say relatively because like when we're all home with Brevin and Ann's, that's already 8 people. Then sometimes Isaac will
Yes.
come through, and then grandparents. So you're already up to like 11 people with just my family plus like
Yeah.
my dad's parents. So it's
Mm.
relatively, but yeah, I really don't know what's gonna happen this year.
Yeah. I mean, Chris. So, I mean, obviously, given that I'm with the family, which is going to be wicked, it's going to be my first proper Christmas with them in like, you know,
It's been a
probably about
while.
3 years, really. Yeah,
That's
it's been a
crazy.
while. We went. I mean, I was there briefly. I think this was 2018. Um, and we went to Kenya actually, which was
Okay,
bliss. That was really really nice. But I had to leave soon after, so like that's why I said this is going to be like the first proper
proper.
Christmas
Yeah,
back. Um, but what we'd usually do is so we'd go to Nottingham to stay with my cousins,
not again.
who were called the Greens. Funnily enough, so you'd have the
Oh, I've I've
Browns and the
I've met him.
Greens.
I've met that's Ollie, right?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you have met Ollie.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we'd go stay with Ollie and his family. So that I mean, already that's 9. And so then my mum's dad who lives just around the corner from them, he'll come through. So that's 10. Then we'll have my mum's sister's families come. So my aunties. I mean, and there, that will be another like 7. So already, we're looking at like 17, 18 people. And even if it is just for the day, the house will
right.
be packed. You won't be able to get a breath of fresh air anywhere. But, it'll just be so together. And so we're thinking, right, there's not a chance on heaven or earth anything even similar to that is going to be able to work out this year because of the rule of 6 and everything like that. So, is it going to have to be over Zoom? I'm like, oh my days, that's going to be like a throwback to Uganda, really, because that's what we had
Yeah,
to do. We'd call the family and on separate occasions as well during Christmas Day and
right.
New Year's and
Time
stuff like
zones and
that.
everything. It's 12,
Yes.
and
Oh
they're
man,
they're
it's going to
just
be
waking up and opening presents.
weird. Yeah, exactly. And you're sort of like having dinners. Honestly,
Right.
it's going to be ridiculous. So, I mean, obviously, I'm excited to be back with the family and celebrating Christmas. It's going to be brilliant. I really can't wait. But at the same time, it's like, right, how is this actually going to go? Because I have no clue. I have no idea at all what's going to happen. So I think it is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to the podcast that we make, sort of either just before or just after that, because I think it's going to be cool to see what happens at that point.